When I was in middle school, my dad was at the height of his addiction, and it was a really bad time. There was abuse, different kinds of abuse. And even though God had done an amazing work where over the years there was a restoration in the family, there was still something that was not right with me. And even though I would go to counselors and recovery groups and did a lot of work, there was just something still not right. And then, in this past decade, unfortunately, I experienced trauma. And because of the trauma, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. So now that fear, anxiety, and depression was taken to a new level. I was feeling kind of hopeless at that point. Through discussion with different people in church, it was brought to my attention to talk to Justine. So I called her up and we had a meeting and we decided to go through the book Soul Care together. Meeting with Jess was like a discipleship where she actually walked alongside of me. She partnered with me. She listened to me. We went through the book together. She was amazing with how she, no matter what I talked about, was right there with a listening ear. That was transformational. It was difficult, but it was good because what God did was He actually dismantled the platform, what I was standing on, the foundation that I was standing on. Being a child that grew up in a very difficult home, some of the layers that were in that faulty foundation were old things like, you're too emotional, nobody will ever want you, you're not lovable. These things were put in this foundation. The message, you can't trust a man for anything, they were all there. And I didn't realize they were in there. And even though I loved Jesus with all my heart, and I was a Christian and am a Christian, that those deep messages of just not being loved was huge. Perfectionism, abandonment, all that stuff in there. And that's what I was standing on. I was loving Jesus, but I was standing on all this stuff. They were like bricks of wrong messages. And it's almost like if you could visualize God coming in and pulverizing those bricks. And now all of a sudden I'm dangling there. And what do I do with that? And I know that Jesus is the foundation, but I was having trouble, well, what do I do now? After we finished the book, we went to a soul care conference. And at the very end of the conference, what happens is you get to receive prayer individually with 2 other people praying for you. And that's where God did His amazing work. That's where the transformation happened, because that's where the Holy Spirit was able to reveal things that were hidden within me that I had no idea were hidden. And it was like I could visually see it being pulled out of me. And in its place, the joy of the Holy Spirit, the peace of the Holy Spirit, the presence of the Holy Spirit was what replaced it. If you think of an English muffin and all the holes, and if you can imagine the holes being there and then the butter being put on and just filling all those holes, that's kind of what the Holy Spirit did. I walked out of that church a new person, truly a new person. The fear, the anxiety, the depression, it was gone. And it's been gone since that time. I have been walking in such a freedom. People notice it, my family they notice it. In fact, before the conference, Justine had to do the driving because I had such anxiety about driving. Where it came from, I don't know. I had no problem getting in my car, turning on that ignition and driving home. And I was praising God, and it's been that evident as I drive to work every day. I mean, it's just continued and continued. I have that inner peace that the Bible talks about, and only God could have done this. It was so transformational that what I would like to do is do the same thing with someone else, where I meet with somebody else. We go through that book together. We can pray together. We seek God together. And I would love to see the healing transformation with somebody, seeing what God can do, because God is amazing.